Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Bellflower's 2018 State of the City Program and Luncheon. I'm Sonny Santa Ynez, and I'm proud to be here today as the Mayor Pro Tem of this great city. I would like first to welcome you to our new event center, the Main. Yes, how about that? Some of you may have attended the State of the City in February of this year. Since then, the city has consolidated its elections with the county. That means we move the State of the City accordingly. We welcome you back to join us for Bellflower's State of the City 2018 Part 2. Momentarily, Mayor Ray Dunn will be giving us a brief recap of what has happened in 2018 and a glimpse of what is to come in 2019 and beyond. This year, we continue to be focused on the resurgence of Bellflower, along with the revitalization and redevelopment of our city. We remain optimistic to continue this upward trend and to prove that Bellflower is back. Before we get started today, I would like to invite past Mayor Scott Larson to join me. Scott is going to lead us in an invocation. Scott?
Thank you, Sonny. I'd like to also thank Mayor Ray Dunton for giving me this privilege, of course, to lead all of us in an opening prayer this morning. So will you pray with me, please? Heavenly Father, this morning we beseech you to hear our prayers. We ask your blessings upon us. We implore you to give graciously the blessings that you desire to give the people who seek you and your guidance. Lord, forgive us for whatever we have done to create distance between you and us. And as we gather this morning to reflect on the state of this wonderful little town we call Bellflower, look upon us with favor as we desire to serve you and your people. Lord, there are those among us who are sick or depressed or lonely who need to know just how much you love them. So grant them health and healing and let them feel your tender love. Father, there are also those who have serious needs, whether it's a financial need, a spiritual need, or even basic things like food, shelter, or a friend. Provide through us the needs of those desperate people whose hearts are turned toward you. We pray for protection, especially for our children. The challenges of the modern fast-paced life are enormous obstacles for so many of them to overcome. Let them seek you and your divine direction. So Lord, bless those businesses, big and small, the owners and the employees who purvey their God-given talents here. Reward them for their hard work and honesty. We ask that you protect our schools, the teachers, and the school staff, but especially the students, and instill in them the desire to learn truth and to seek your wisdom. Be pleased with our churches who desire to serve your people and to love you with their whole being, and bring forth revival in the land, mighty God, for we find ourselves in spiritually trying times. Lord, we are saddened by so much of what we see happening in politics today. So give wisdom to our leaders at the national level, the state capitals, the local counties, that those people's hearts may be reminded that they were appointed to help with a servant's heart, the people, in truth and fairness. May the principles that our country was established upon through our founding fathers return to our great land through your grace and through your mercy. Father, bless this food, that it will nourish us and strengthen us as we endeavor to serve you. Bless our community. Bless and give wisdom to our Bellflower leaders. We humbly ask these things in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Scott. Next, I'd like to invite past Mayor Mike Brazard to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the national anthem sung by the Bellflower High School Vocal Ensemble. Please join me in welcoming Mike and the Bellflower Vocal Ensemble.
I wish to thank the mayor for inviting me. I'll pay a tribute to the flag. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over the institutions of learning. I stand guard with power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant, and I am proud. When I'm flown with my fellow banners, my head is a little bit higher, my colors a little bit truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshiped. I am saluted. I am loved. I am revered. I'm respected and I am feared. I have fought every battle of every war for more than 200 years. I was flown at Valley Forge, Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox. I was there at San Juan Hill, the trenches of France in the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, and the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Korea, Khe Sanh, Saigon, and Vietnam. They all know me. I was there. I led my troops. I was dirty, battle-worn and tired, but my soldiers cheered me, and I was proud. I've been burned, torn, trampled on the streets of countries that I have helped to set free. It doesn't hurt, for I am invincible. I've been soiled upon, burnt, torn, trampled in the streets of my country, and when it's done by those whom I've served in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth and stood watch over the uncharted frontiers of space from my vantage point on the moon. I've been born silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hours are yet to come. When I'm torn into strips and used into bandages for my wounded comrades in the battlefield, when I'm flown at half-mast to honor my soldiers, or when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving parent at the grave of their fallen son and daughter, I am proud. I am the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much, Mike, for that very inspiring introduction to the Pledge of Allegiance. And thank you to the Belfast High School Ensemble. Don't they sing like angels? Don't they? Give me. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to recognize our host and other guests we have with us today. So please work with me so we can save some time. As I call each name, please acknowledge him with one clap, just one. And at the very end, we'll give them a big round of applause, because studies said that by doing so, we will save approximately 11 minutes. Let me start from our host, from the Belfast City Council. Well, let me try if you get the lesson here. If I introduce George Washington. Wait, got it. Thank you. From the Belfast City Council, we have Mayor Ray Dunn, Councilmember Dan Coops, Councilmember Juan Garza. As I mentioned earlier, we have Mike Brazard, past mayor. Past Mayor Scott Larson. Local representatives from Congresswoman Liz Sanchez's office, we have Stephen Nagy. Assemblymember Christina's office, we have Chad Oberly. Linda Johnson from Jenny San's office. Our county assessor, Mr. Jeffrey Prang. From the Belfast Unified School Board District, we have School Board President Laura Sanchez Ramirez, Dr. Sue L. Hessen, Jerry Cleveland, Superintendent Tracy McSparran. From the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, we have Los Angeles County Sheriff Jim McDonald, Chief Kelly Fraser, Commander James Wallach, Captain Rick Harpin, Lieutenant Tim Milliman. From the Los Angeles County Fire Department, we have Assistant Fire Chief Patrick Errett. From Station 22, we have Captain Tim Karp. Station 98, Captain Laylor. Station 30, Captain Tim Garcia. We also have members from our downstairs neighbors, downstairs literally speaking. Please recognize the members of the Los Angeles County Fire Museum Association. From City of Downey, we welcome City Council member Blanca Pacheco. From the City's Board of Trustees, we welcome Marisa Perez and Carmen Avalos. Thank you all for joining us today. We also would like to introduce some of our key city staff. Our City Manager, Jeff Stewart. Our City Clerk, Myra Ochiki. City Attorney, Carl Berger. Assistant City Manager and Public Works Director, Len Gorecki. Economic Development Director, Jim Delalonga. Parks and Recreation Director, PJ Milana. Director of Finance, Tay Ree. And our newest director, Elizabeth Corpus. She oversees the Planning and Building Services Department. And also, I'd like to recognize Rowena Janila Concepcion, who acted as the interim Planning and Building Service Director until we brought Elizabeth on board. We also would like to recognize all our public officials, commissioners, and community organization members for being here today. At this time, I'd like to invite all other members of the Sheriff's Department and the County Fire Department to please stand up. We want to recognize you for their service to our community. We appreciate each of you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. At this time, I would like to get to the second most important item of business today. That is lunch. Lunch is, please enjoy your lunch today, which is catered by our exclusive catering service, TGIS. Please enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny. And with that, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I'd like to thank everybody here for coming out this afternoon tonight for the State of the City. This is the second one we've done this year due to the resetting of the election cycle. And I see we got a great turnout here today. And I can only attribute that to maybe to the good things we've done as a council, as a city of Bellflower, or it's the venue, or it's the partnership we have with the Los Angeles County Fire Museum downstairs. But anyway, it looks like a record turnout that I've seen in the past. This is the third time that I've had the pleasure to do State of the City. And how many people remember what this town was like a decade ago? And all the empty storefronts that we had, and things weren't going well. And this is fruits of our labor that I'm going to show you here tonight. It's been a long struggle, but a decade ago wasn't when it started. It started 5, 8 years prior to that. It takes that long to get stuff done. And with that, that's why we come up with the theme that Bellflower's back, and I really think so. I coined a phrase some time ago that I couldn't wait to have residents or community members coming up to me and tell us there's no parking. Well, I'm here to tell you that now that there is a parking problem downtown. You cannot go to the store that you liked if it was open 10 years ago and get the front row parking space anymore. You're going to have to know where all the nooks and crannies to get that. And with that, I'm going to proceed of what we've done, all the good things we've done this year, and show you some neat things. We're going to talked about all the city departments, and we're going to go through them one by one in this order. And it all starts about finances, about money, good leadership and fiscal management. This is our budget of $52 million. This is what we take in every year. It's a pie chart. 30 million of that 52 is discretionary, which means we can choose how we spend it. You know, that's payroll, buy things, run city hall, pay the electric bill, and if there's any extra, do wonderful things that we're going to show you. The other 22 million is restricted funds, such as grants, special project money that would actually be spent on certain projects that have entitlements to. This revenue source chart here is give you an idea that all of our money that we have is 53% in taxes, and intergovernmental, which is intergovernmental money coming down from the state to us, and investments and earnings, and then the pie there is slivers up into some small things. But basically, again, over half of our projected budget comes from taxes, such as sales tax, gas tax, and property tax. This is an interesting slide, and I doctored it up, not doctored it up, bad choice of words. Had them get more live data. Actually, I added the green color. But with that, this is a $31.2 million budget of our discretionary funds. And this is what we're rolling on today. 5 years ago, we were down approximately 26 million, and we chose to put a utilities user tax bump of 2% on the existing UUT that we had at that time. And we put it before the voters to help us out, to give us that 2% for economic development. And we all knew economic development was what we needed to get this town thriving. We went before the voters, they approved it. That's what represents that orange line that's up there. And it was to sunset April 1st of this year. That's where it stopped. We told the voters we were going to stop it, and we did. But knowing that, we went further and tried to get income to replace it. We knew we started all these wonderful things here in town and needed to continue it. And with that, we started getting into researching cannabis. And we figured states decided to legalize medical marijuana. And we said pretty much, if you can't beat them, let's join them and tax the heck out of it. That's what represents that green line that's right there. That line represents the continuing of the 1.7 million that we were taking in yearly. And with that, to this date, from April 1st to today, we are managing our $31.2 million. And there's something to have fun with, because this is true. This is the estimated cannabis revenue that we're interested in pursuing. I know that this is a topic that has controversy, but we chose to go this route because of the fact that Bellflower is doing all these wonderful things and wouldn't be able to do it without the finance. As you can look in year 18, the 1.7 billion that we took in represents the cannabis permit and tax that we've took in, not tax, but permit fees that we've took in, and the UUT up until April 1st. And this is our projection for the years on out of revenue to come out of that tax. We've been doing this for 1 year now, just about, this December. We don't have one of these institutions open as of yet. And with that, we're looking forward to having them open, so to continue this growth in our general fund. The economy has been good to us. The economy now has risen. As you can see, from December of 17 to 18, we're actually following the trajectory of LA County, which is quite a good thing. Medium house prices. Anybody that owns a house or been trying to buy one lately knows that the medium housing market has actually accelerated and is up there. It's almost to the level of back when it was in 2007. So we're just a little bit north of 500,000 for our medium house here in Bellflower. This property tax distribution is something that every time I see it a lot, but it's a chart that kind of just I don't like, because it shows that of every dollar that we take in property tax, we only take in 6.66 cents of that. That is our take on it. And LA County takes the 48 cents of the dollar, and the schools take 45. That's what that represents. So when everybody's paying all these property bills, it's not the city that's taking all the money, it's this. I'm not saying that these other funds go to good things, of course they do, but that's just our little portion. There's other cities that have a little more than the 6 cents, and unfortunately that's what we get. This is our general fund reserve. In 2018, we're north of $14 million. This is pretty much cash in the bank. We did something a little different this year with red on the last 2-year bars. We acquired some property. And with that, we're going to get into our economic development a little later. And we had bought parcels and bought some property to be able to negotiate with developers on a firm ground, and they won't waffle with other owners, and be able to get the right project on some big buildings that we bought. $8 million that you see in the brown, that is always our emergency funds. That's just something we have a flood, an earthquake or something. You need to be going to action and have the money there in the bank. So it never drops below that. The 4.2 in the blue is a discretionary fund. That's what we save, and we have to choose if we want to spend it or whatever. But we were getting pretty, fiscal management was pretty good, and so we decided to buy some properties. And last year, 16-17, the old Thompson Furniture Greek Market property, which is right behind you, was purchased by the city of Bellflower to do a development. Quick story on that. We put it out for a research for proposal. 7 developers came to us with proposals, and there's actually one that the council is shaking down right now to see if it's feasible for our town and if it can pull it off, but it's a very interesting project. The other, why it went from 2.2 to 2.9 this year, is the city bought the Bank of the West building downtown. The bank relocated the bank, and is changing, and they didn't need that. They came to the city to buy it. The reason we bought these is there's been underutilized businesses or underutilized companies wanting to buy these. They either use them for warehouses or bicycle stores or gyms. We didn't think that was a fit for downtown. And so we decided, we got a little nervous and decided to buy them one and one. And now we can control what goes there because we are the property owner, and we can actually get our money back. And so it shows property acquisition, 2.9 for this year, but I'm a person that likes property. That's an asset. You're not going to lose on property. It's like money in the bank. We will get that money back when we sell it to the developer. Economic development. That's what started probably about 5 years ago now. Our new development is this building that you're in. We had a grand opening earlier this year with this project, the event center. And in July, our downstairs tenant, the Los Angeles County Fire Museum organization, had their grand opening. And now they're opening from Wednesday through Sunday for several hours a day. And when you're done here, they are open downstairs. If you haven't been down, I would recommend you that you go downstairs and check out what they got to offer. But this is a partnership that we've done with the LA County Fire Engine Museum organization with the city of Bellflower to get this building done. And we can have these state-of-the-city events here in a nice carpeted building instead of at the park with tile floors and a governmental look of the institutional building. All right, Steelcraft. This is a project that is coming just to the south of us at the corner of Oak and Bellflower Boulevard. It's a recycled shipping containers that actually, they open them up and make them into kitchens and kind of like a food court and a center gathering with tables and shade in the center of it. And it's scheduled to about open in just after the first of the year. Some of the tenants that they're going to have is a 10 Mile Brewing Company, Solid Roaster Coffees, and then we got Cassidy's Corner. They have a location in Lakewood right now for the pastries and fresh baked goods. Another tenant is Fritzy Coop, which specializes in chicken and how to prepare it in a unique way. All of these vendors are unique vendors that have been vetted by Steelcraft owners to get somebody unique where they don't have a restaurant and they just coming up to get them started and to have their special projects. All of these vendors were chose to work together. Standing room only. I guess that's the reason it was standing room. There's a story behind that. The guy was making sandwiches in a small area and there was always a line. And that's what happened, and they got him to come make these sandwiches, and it's a burger place. And Philanthropy is another one, the Vietnamese soup called pho, and that's what they serve. They do charity, and some of their profits go right to charity. And then you got to have dessert. Long Beach Creamery is going to have a opening there, and that's the tenants that are coming after the first of the year. Another great project that we have is Ricky's Italian restaurant. Was located south side of town at Artesia and Bellflower Boulevard for over 50 years. Had a storefront right on the street, had parking in the back, not very much of it. Survived for 50 years. We didn't want to have that business leave our city. We partnered with them to relocate them downtown, and now they're right across the street with a state-of-the-art restaurant. Today's standards, outside dining, and a very nice place. Recommend you go in there. We partnered with Habitat for Humanity. We bought some property on Ramona from a tax lien. We had this property, and we went for the best use of it and for low-income housing. We actually partnered with Habitat for Humanity to get these houses built, and now there's 6 homes there. And they're all pick their lottery, or the Habitat picks who buys them or whatever, and they have to pay them back at an income level that they can afford. And that's what's there. Anybody see this downtown, south side of Bellflower yet? This is the old Penny's building. This Penny's building has been closed as far as I can remember. I think the last time I was in there, my parents took me there to buy tennis shoes when I was in school. But with that said, the same owner of Steelcraft was negotiating with the city for the Steelcraft location, drove down Bellflower Boulevard several times in the process, saw this building and fell in love with it. He was looking for a place to put his corporate offices. And he outgrew from his business growing, he needed to relocate. And he looked at this building, was for sale, He's bought this building 2 weeks before the city had puts in a wrecking ball from a court order to bulldoze it down to abate the conditions that were going on in that building. But anyway, he has visions to put his corporate offices on the 3rd floor and shared office space on the 2nd floor, restaurants and brewery and distillery on the 1st floor. This project is under construction, is abating the conditions. There's a mold infested, asbestos and whatnot. He's actually cleaning up the inside. And soon that'll be a project that we'll all be proud of. Another project would be Moto United. This is the motorcycle company that was formerly Bellflower Motorsports, Yamaha dealer in the middle of Bellflower. And we approached them with the idea to buy this old Coupland's furniture store to bring their motorcycle shop there. We assisted them in every way we could so they can come and get freeway exposure. By moving here and navigating the franchise laws that they had to get through to get their franchise there, they actually also picked up the Indian motorcycle, and they will be bringing that on. But they just opened up about a couple months ago, and now they have freeway exposure. Here's a big one that everybody's really looking forward to, is an In-N-Out Burger on the corner of Artesia and Bellflower Boulevard. And they are definitely coming. That's what it's going to look at, the whole site. And construction of that will start along with the street widening project that I'll share with you earlier. Kitty corner from that, this is Dunkin' Donuts, and I guess a week ago they changed it to Dunkin'. So it's not Dunkin' Donuts no more. They dropped one of the D's. So it's going to be the D, I guess. But I was corrected that no longer that's Dunkin' Donuts. But anyway, they're changing with the times too, but that's going to go kitty corner from it. Big Al's Pizza. We have pizza places in town, but we don't have something you can really take several sports companies, little leagues, football, to a pizza place, the team. And they bought a place that used to be affordable furniture down next to Johnny Reb's, and they're going to relocate there. The building is almost as big as this. They'll be able to sell pizza. They're going to do a barbecue also, and they'll be able to get your youth sports teams in there and go there after a game. Also coming to our downtown, this is called Stand Up, which is a comedy theater. This is, you heard of the Laugh Stop and those kind of places. This gentleman actually writes a magazine called a Stand Up. And it was his dream to do something like this because he has all the connections of everybody writing this magazine that's monthly. He came to Bellflower and knew that this theater used to be the Youth Cultural Arts Building, and where 2 people volunteered their time to teach the youth about theater. And they pretty much had one foot out the door looking for retirement or whatever, and we come to an agreement that this is a city building, that we would lease it to the stand-up comedy guy, and then use our our Bristol Auditorium and Civic Center to finish the youth cultural arts program that they got started. But this here, 150 seats, 2 shows a night. Think there's no parking down on Bellflower Boulevard? Because I don't know about you, but if I've ever been to one of these things, my wife makes me take her to dinner either before or after. So, it's to the restaurant's advantage. We're going to have something nice here. But, so we've got a lot of cars coming. This is something I had staff put in, vacant lots. Why? Because once you got a vacant lot, there's only one thing else next that comes, something new and better and grander than what was there before. This is the vacant lot that's behind Sizzler, Artesia and Woodruff. This lot now is demoed. There is some contaminated soil on the site, and in the process of cleaning it up, it may take a year or better to get that cleaned up. Until then, we don't know what's going to go there, but once you got something leveled, it seems like every developer around in 50 miles knows about it. And they're always calling and talking and finding out what they can put there. This lot here, In-N-Out site. scraped clean. That's beautiful, beautiful dirt. The most beautiful dirt I've seen since I've lived in Bellflower. Kitty corner. This is where the Dunkin' Donuts or the D's going, right across the street. This here is an interesting parcel. This is probably the first leveled lot that we had. This is the Ray Flattabo car dealer that hadn't been around in some time, along with a suburban Pontiac dealer. And this site, they had a fire on site, and a transient got killed. And unfortunately, prior to that, we were trying to have the owner abate the condition of the transients because it was a nuisance. And so we took the guy to court to get the place demoed. Judge saw it in our favor and said, do you want to demo it, or do you want us to demo it at prevailing wage? He chose to do it himself. So since then, there's been a lot of activity, a lot of developers talking to the property owner. The property owner has the right not to ever build anything there, but once it's gone, something new has to come back. And it was the kind of property owner that wanted to recycle what was there from the 50s. Another lot, this is downtown. This is looking from the alley side out to Bellflower Boulevard. I actually told this gentleman that owned this thing, if you don't buy this building, it'll always look like that. Nothing will change. If you buy it, then something will happen. Who would have thought it burned down? I kind of felt bad, but burned down, now it's a lot. And it goes with my philosophy. Once a lot, then you actually have something new that can come back. And this property had just sold to a new owner, and they're vetting to put a craft beer place there right now. A brewery, craft beer place, that seems to be the fad at the moment. Another vacant lot. This is Artesia Boulevard. This is where the Bellflower Automotive Center used to be. Advanced radiator, car life muffler, Bellflower transmission, automotive center that was designed in the 50s and very antiquated. We got it leveled today for the phase 2 of City Ventures condominium project. This is what's next door. This is the project. This is another lot that's been there vacant 25, 30 years. Today, this is what it looks like. This is phase 1, is right next door. Interesting about this one, this is a lot that's on Ramona. It has a Ramona address. And maybe that's why it's been vacant so long. It's right next to the TLC car wash. This developer actually came to me and says, Ray, what do you think putting condos here? Everybody bangs on commercial. You need commercial in Bellflower. You need commercial in Bellflower. I get it. I'm getting beat up already for the City Ventures project that I just showed you the slide about condos. We're getting all these condos. We need businesses. Well, the businesses aren't coming that quick. This property has been vacant for over 40 years. I drove by it every day. I don't live very far from that. I told the developer, if you don't buy that and do this project, it's going to look that way 20, 30 years later. He did, so we have some condominiums. So you got to weigh it out, vacant lot or something new. Same developer is doing a project here right down the street. This is the old Bellwood Hospital site. This lot has been vacant for 11 or 12 years. This developer actually built the condos on the Bellwood Hospital site. There's like 66 condominiums called Cortafina right behind it. When he had anticipated putting condos here, but 2007 is when he wrapped up his other project. The economy crashed and he just sat on this property for 10 years. Well, now the economy is good, developers can make money again. This particular project is a carbon copy of Belmont Court. It's the 30 condominiums that are on the corner of Belmont and Bellflower Boulevard, where it has a sushi restaurant under it and the Korean barbecue. Except for this project, it's not going to have any commercial on it. The whole bottom floor will be parking. The reason we got away with less parking there is because we assigned the parking to our downtown parking lots for the guest parking of that project. Reason being, when we built that, it was a down economy, nothing was coming. We got that project built and is a catalyst, one of the catalysts for what you see downtown now. New acquisition, this is the Bank of the West building. This is what the city bought to control what goes there. Now we'll sell it to a developer that has a good idea what to bring that fits our vision of downtown. This is right behind us, the Greek Market. Bought this last year, and there's mixed-use project on the table. I can't get into it right now, but it's a wonderful project if it comes to attrition. With that, our goals and initiatives is actually develop that Greek market, because that Greek market, again, vacancy, I've been telling you, vacant, vacant, vacant for many decades. 15 years, I think that's been vacant. Anyway, continue the promotion of downtown Bellflower, and I think we did a pretty good job downtown so far. What do you guys think? We want to assist Bellflower downtown businesses. We're actually trying to get an organization to put a business improvement district. That is where every property owner and every business on downtown Bellflower, and we're actually going from Alondra all the way to Artesia, to tax themselves. Put money in a kitty, do your special promotions, hire a promoter, and promote your business as a whole, similar to what 2nd Street downtown Belmont Shores does. So we think it's time to do that, so we're assisting it. And then we got the train station coming with the new train coming, and oriented parking. We got to see that through. We're going to continue the redevelopment of downtown, one vacant lot at a time. Okay, public safety. You can't do all these wonderful things if you don't keep things in check. I want to tell you, since crime stats were started back in '71, this year is the lowest Part 1 crime rate that we've had. It's not because of more police or more how you do things or you're spending money. You just can't throw money at the problem and make it go away. It helps, but it's about how you use your resources. The Sheriff Department does quite well. We have a mix of resources. We get to decide what we need and what we do and what we follow up. It's not today's crime. It's all, the bad people coming back and keeping an eye on them, making sure they don't do stuff again. But that's what helps. Online platforms. This day and age, there's a lot of social media. Crime Watch of Bellflower. You can see 13,000 members. Bellflower Community Awareness, Crime and Prevention Tips, for over 4,000 members. In Positively Bellflower, which is one of my wife's favorites, 6,000 plus members on that. And Positively Bellflower means Positively Bellflower. You're tired of the downers that you see on these Crime Watch pages, go to that site, because there's some happy stuff there, and I think this world needs a little more happy. And then there's some national brands, Nextdoor and Nextdoor, that have some members too. But that's the way society's changing with the social media, so we have to embrace it. Here's some neat pictures of National Night Out. We've had National Night Out at Thompson Park last year. We had it at Sims Park this year. This year we had the In-N-Out truck show up at Sim Park. And that's when we invite the neighborhood watches and anybody who wants to come to meet the sheriff and fire personnel and public safety people. Number of calls to Lakewood Station every day is about 82, and almost 30,000 annually. Reports taken 12,000, and the cases to our special assignment detectives. That's part of the community policing that helps keep crime down, and we got 2,000 annually. But this number here, when I saw this number, I was amazed. And, just because I'm on the, council and I'm the mayor, you can't possibly know everything, but you sure remember something that you see that it sticks in you. Substation, 12,000 people visit that substation that's just across the street every year. That's 1,000 people a month. It's always up in the air, why do we have the substation and whatnot, but we have some first responders there, sheriff there that work out of there. They do the reports there. It's a visible downtown. You see the black and whites. Just seeing a black and white, you kind of look around. The bad guy's got to see that. I got to look in my rearview mirror to see the black and whites behind me, because I always drive too fast. But anyway, 1,000 people a month come to that substation. We always spend a lot of money on our public safety budget, but I think it's worth it. Parks and Rec, fun and games, guys. 3rd year in a row. This is awarded by Kaboom. They do recreation projects of toys that they put in the parks or whatever, and we grant money, we match them and whatever. And we've done about a couple of projects with them. I know the Y has done a project with them and whatnot, but a very good company, and they get donations and we match it and like whatever. But they've came to us 3 times in a row at our city entrances. You can see this sign on a pole usually. Community programs, 1,200 hours of the supervised program park facilities that we have. That means we have some parks that are supervised that have staff there most of the time, and then we have unsupervised where there's no staff. And 1,500 hours of recreational park facilities for the recreation and therapy for the Special Olympics. Here's some community pictures of what we do. These happy faces, some more happy faces. This is a program that I just found out about last council meeting, and so did my colleagues. It's a program that the Parks and Rec entered about mentoring youth. Mentoring may be the wrong word, but giving them job experience. Kids that are in middle school, high school, they can sign up for this program, and we actually put them in the Parks and Rec and actually gave them jobs. Kids had to show up on time, had to be there, learn. So it's their first step of finding out what a job could do. You got to be there at a certain time, you go home at a certain time. So it's getting the youth prepared. And we gave these kids that came in, there must have been 15 of them that showed up, and probably more than that. They all got certificates, and very proud of them. Goals for the Parks and Rec Department, because they run all these fun, happy things. The movie nights that you know that are behind us out here at Belmont Plaza, and a Street Fest. We alternate Thursdays and Fridays every other week for downtown through the summer. We just got through the Noon Lions Car Show, which we partner with. And State of the City today, Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, which will be in this room next Tuesday if you're all interested. And a Service Club luncheon is that following Thursday, October 11th, and that'll be at Sims Park. That's where service clubs like the Lions, Kiwanis, Seroptimus, Eagles, the Oddfellows, all these service clubs come together in one meeting room, and because they're all about service and helping our community. And then another favorite, I'm sure there's a lot of people's, is our Christmas tree lighting ceremony that's going to be held this December 7th. And yes, it's still a Christmas tree lighting ceremony here in Bellflower. Bravo is our Valor Awards that we have every year. And special guest will be Jim Abbott. He's used to play for the Angels. There it is. This is our 25th year doing Bravo. And the Mayor Pro Tem picks the Bravo speaker, and his number on his jersey was 25. So, what a mix! But December 7th, and any sponsors willing to sponsor, we're looking for sponsors as of right now to help sponsor that event. Planning and building services. This is our planning department, the building inspector department, code enforcement. Self-certification. Self-certification is something new. We were either the second or third city in the United States that started this. I believe New York may have been first. This is where you have a set of plans by an architect that are stamped, an engineer, an energy specialist, and you put them on the table and they go, okay, I'm ready to submit it to plan check. Well, you can circumvent that, which takes 6 to 8 weeks. If you self-certify, that means your architect has to sign off on it, all the special engineers sign off on it, and you don't have to wait that 6 to 8 weeks. You can, if there's a problem noticed in the field, this inspector brings it up, you fix it then. Saves a builder a couple of months, because if anybody's ever have any plans go across City Hall, it takes you 6 weeks to get them, you got corrections, you come back, your guy gets around to the corrections when he gets to it, and then you give them back. And it's a ping pong ball going back and forth. But out of 10 that chose to do it, 9 of them went for it, and it saved a lot of time and accelerates the construction process. 717 permits were issued to date. We estimate that we're going to have close to 1,000. I had this slide put up here because I wanted to know how many construction permits we took in the year of 2008. and you think we're double the permits. So there's double the action going out there of this town growing than there used to be. And I wanted to make that comment because there seems to be a lot of construction. Maybe we'll get those empty lots taken care of. Okay, code enforcement. Thank you. There are just some property owners that just don't get it. Sometimes there are reasons and sometimes there's not. But anyway, you don't want code enforcement coming after you, but you know, if the paint's peeling or the weeds aren't mowed or whatever, that makes the whole city go down, you know. You got to be a good steward of your city, and that's why we have them. Code enforcement, and you know, back to the cannabis again. We've shut down this year 5 unlicensed campuses. They still pop up here and there, not as what they used to. But at one time, it cost us several $100,000 to get rid of one. We get it down to a science because we've been fighting this for 5 years before we started legalizing it. When we get it legalized, the permit process, maybe we think that the operators will run the other ones out of town maybe, and we won't have to do it. Code enforcement before and after. This upper slide here is a nice neighborhood in town. This house has had problems for over 10 years. And after going to court several times and getting the property owner on the right direction, the property owner kind of gave up. And it sold it to a flipper. The flipper finished it, and this is what it looks like today, and it's all fixed. It was a 10-year run, though, to get this fixed. Here's another one, property downtown. That fence that you see around in both pictures is part of code enforcement. We had them fence it off, but never finished it. It sold to another property owner, and then the new property owner finished it off, and that's what you see down below is with the bark on it and no weeds. Before and after, this is at Park and Bellflower. Had some sinus issues, some pain issues. This whole strip center was looking a little tattered, and code enforcement went after. And a lot of times it's just, hey, can you just do it? You know, it's not like you have to, you know, get the hammer out and hit them over the head or the baseball bat or whatever. You know, sometimes just talking to them gets it done, and it looks much better today. And nobody ever wants one of these in their neighborhood. When we get in closed session and talk about the hoarder cases, and it's a problem that's infested in a neighborhood for, you know, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. The time we get it, you know, the neighborhood wants relief, needs relief. And this is a before and after picture. And you go into, you know, research into who's the family contacts, who can, you know, help this person out and get them to move the right direction and relief for the community. And with that, the goals is continue to update the zoning code, continue to promote the self-certification, and we're going to implement new software that monitors the code enforcement cases better than we do today. Public Works. This kind of has some of the gingerbread in it that you see in economic development, but the Public Works runs it. This is the south side of the 91 freeway off-ramps. As you saw, hardscape got put in, the weeds got taken out a couple years ago. We intended to put landscaping in, but then there was a drought, and the governor said there's a drought and you can't put any landscape in no more. The drought got lifted, we went immediately back to work before the drought got back on. We got the landscaping done. The money was always there from grants set aside. You know, these grants have expires on them. If you don't use them, you lose it, you know, so we got it done. Looks much better today. This is probably a 300 or 400 foot block wall. Sims Park. It's where the park goes deep. And before this block wall there was a bunch of mismatched fences, rusty chain link fence, wood fences, double fences like our rusty fence, the neighbor's wood fence, nothing matched. And we got money in the budget to put this fence in because there's probably 20 homes there, 20 backyards, that's how long it is. And put that in and added them a little relief for the balls not going into the fence and breaking the windows. Annual slurry seal program. All our residential streets get slurry sealed. They're on a 7-year program. So if you you live in Bellflower on your residential street, you'll see that street get done every 7 years. Gets the slurry seal on it, which waterproofs it, and keeps it up in a way that, it doesn't deteriorate like surrounding cities do. So we have better residential streets in our surrounding cities, and we've always kept that program in place. Street widening project. This is what's been coming for 12 years now at Bellflower and Artesia. We have the in and out coming, but the street ain't widened. One little thing that's in the back of my head, and probably some of you thought of, okay, you're gonna widen the street to alleviate the bottleneck there, because everybody's been through there. And then you're gonna put an in and out there to make the traffic better. I've thought of that. But unfortunately, property owners have property rights, and if they can meet the code, they can come in or whatever. But we'll see how it works. But everybody knows that street needs to be widened. And it's getting widened with MTA money. That was identified a long time ago, over 10 years, as a hot spot in the MTA. It's all MTA money paying for that street widening. All the signal irons are going to be changed out to match the black ornamental irons that we have downtown. We're going to put a nice crosswalk area and stuff that you see downtown. We're going to mirror what's down here in downtown. Our indoor pool, which is a big hit to a lot of people, because we have a pool that we can do in the wintertime. We also have an indoor pool that the movies like. The movies like to shoot movies in here, And we've decided we got to do solar. Let's do some solar and some energy stuff. Let's put solar on that thing. It'd be, for the pool, it'd be the best. It's got a roof. Well, maybe we ought to check out the roof before we put that on. Good idea, but it costs another $1 million for a new roof. The chlorine over the years. I guess it used to be a metal roof, and over the years it's been patched up because it was never designed to have a wood roof on it. And then, the steam from the water, and we all know what happens in wood in your bathroom, right? So this is a pool with wood, and so it's almost a completed structure, and it's getting there. We're partnering with Caltrans for a stormwater capture site. The end thing now is to not put a lot of concrete and paving down, because after 70 years we decided that we need the water to percolate back into the ground for the water table. And so Caltrans has all these freeways and stuff, and they have to abide what we do and what other builders do for percolation. You hold your water on site. This is at Crothers Park. This is a couple acres of underground containment system. And what it does is when a big torrential rain comes in, this fills up, stores it, and it slowly is designed to percolate down. It's not going to go down the ground all at once, but it'll be a lake under there for some time until it gets back into the ground. And this is a several $1 million project that we're doing with Caltrans to do it. Actually, if you I forget what park it is in Lakewood on Clark, there's a park there. What park is that? Mayfair Park. And they're doing that same project there with Caltrans, because Caltrans has to meet some of their own rules too that the state put down. This is our future parking structure. As I made you been aware from the beginning of what I'm talking about, is we had a parking problem. This is almost a 300-car parking structure. This is the Greek Market would be that gray down below, or the Thompson Furniture. This is Main and Bellflower with the Fire Museum on the right. This is what it'll look like from this angle. You'll enter from Main Street. And modern day parking garage should be under construction in the next couple of months. This is what it looks like from the other side. I can wait for a clap. Yeah, heck, why not? But our vision was to not just have a square box parking structure. One, we couldn't have a square box. Did anybody look at that lot that's going on? It's a triangle lot. We were very worried at the parking structure gurus that do these things, we weren't going to get 300 parking spaces, because our goal was 300 parking spaces. It's a triangle lot. But they did an excellent job to put this parking structure on this lot to fit the need of how many cars we want. We're actually going to vacate some of Pacific Street next door to help put this footprint on. And there's a lot of stuff behind behind the scenes, like utilities, moving water lines and stuff that are in the street right now getting done. So it's kind of started in the construction, but it hasn't. But if you look, we didn't want that square building. We didn't want it to look like a parking structure. We built it to mirror the event center. As you can see, we got some windows in there that are similar. You got the turret, you got the colors, and it's white, the same color. But this is our vision of the parking structure coming in Bellflower. We want to get that downtown parking structure done. We're going to resurface Alondra Boulevard, and we're going to do some Eucalyptus Street improvements. And we're partners with the City of Paramount in a joint bike route and walking path. We're going to continue that transportation plan. And then we have an unsupervised park going in on Coke Street, where the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power transmission lines are. There's an area under there that just grew weeds or whatever. And we're on our way to put an unsupervised park there and clean that area up. And of course, we want to continue what we've been doing and do what we do. City clerk, the last department I got. You need this when you're running for election. City clerk is your best friend. Anyways, she manages 17 meetings a year and this year, and then 8 special meetings. It seems like we're always doing special meetings because we're always doing something cool. All this cool stuff takes our time, but we're willing to buy into this. This is what we're here for. Records, there's a boatload of records, that paper that you manage, anybody in your daily life, even in your home life, all the paper that you can accumulate. We put the new records in storage and get rid of some of the old. And with that, they wanted me to let you know that this election for districts 1, 3, and 5, which is I'm number 5, has been canceled due to nobody challenging us. I gotta think as a council, what I've shared with you today is all these good and wonderful things and the stable things we do and the fiscal responsibility might have something to do with it. And it's been tiresome at a time, but we're going the right direction. But in 2020, we're gonna have districts 2 and 4 up for election. But with that, we love the city clerk. And what do you think? Is Bellflower back or not? Thank you for spending your time with me today and coming out and this great new facility. And everybody have a blessed day. Thank you.